Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ouachita News Show. Today is Veterans Day and as you see, we are dressed for the occasion.
There are many heroes among us that have fought for our country's freedom and have dedicated their lives to serving the United States of America. Today, we say thank you to those heroes. We only have 2 weeks left on campus, and I don't think I'm ready to go home for finals.
I know, Izzy. The end of the semester is approaching quicker than I want it to, and as of November 9th, Ouachita has 21 active COVID cases. For more information, be sure to check obu.edu/coronavirus.
Well, before we ask Blythe about the weather, we do have a projected winner for the presidential election. On Saturday, the Associated Press called the race. Joe Biden won 290 votes from the Electoral College, surpassing the 270 needed to win the election. And Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris, has made history as the first female vice president.
This election also saw a record high voter turnout. According to Time magazine, the 2020 election had the highest number of voters out of any U.S. election.
And on that note, Blythe has your forecast for the week. What's the weather looking like for the rest of Rush, Blythe?
Good morning, Ouachita weather watchers. This is Blythe Epp with your 5-day weather report for this week. Today will be the coolest day of the week, but don't let that get you down, as it will be mostly sunny skies for the most part of the day. With that, there's only a 13% chance of rain for this 11th day of November. Tomorrow, you can look forward to full sunny skies from sunup to sundown with a high of 72 degrees for Thursday. And contrary to what some may think about Friday the 13th, it will be a gorgeous sunny day with just a few clouds and a very slim chance of rainfall. Who doesn't love the rain that lives in the Delph, right? Well, if you do, you're in luck, because Saturday's prediction has a high of 73 degrees and a 35% chance of rain. Let's end this week on a high note with a high of 75 degrees for Sunday. The day is supposed to stay mostly sunny and warm with only a few clouds rolling in. Well, that concludes your 5-day weather report with predictions by AccuWeather. This is Blythe Epp with the weather forecast for this week, whether you like it or not.
Thanks, Blythe. The weather is really looking good for bid day on Saturday.
I'm so excited for everyone rushing this week, and I think it'll be a really memorable experience for them.
Me too, Caroline. Rush is happening earlier than it normally does, and it's definitely different than normal. Here's Brock Ingold with more about the changes to the rush process for this year.
Pretending that anything in this semester is conventional would be an understatement, but especially how social clubs interact with each other. They've been making do, but Rush is another story.
So doing that fall gives us an opportunity to have at least 2 nights where we're in person with the Rushies, and so we were all really thankful to have that opportunity to actually meet with them in person, one-on-one, and be able to talk face-to-face rather than on Zoom. So we're all thankful for that opportunity.
We don't know as many of the freshmen and people rushing going into it, which that's okay. Rush is a time to meet everyone, but I think doing it second semester and having a normal semester allows us to meet more of the freshmen before we actually get to the time and allows them to get to know the clubs better.
One of the most difficult tasks this semester was giving freshmen a solid idea of what each club is about, especially without Tiger Tunes.
Not being able to do Tiger Tunes, I think, was tough on every club. 80s Night was another event that we feel like represented us really well and had a good turnout. So we think that even though we didn't have tunes, there's enough events like 80s Night and Tie-Dye with Tri-Chi that represented us well this semester.
Taking the negatives into account, there are still some distinct advantages to having Rush on Zoom.
There are some things that we might not be able to do as often, such as doing games on the computer or specific breakout rooms. And if we want to get an alumni speaker, they don't necessarily have to organize a time when they can come to OBU. We can just get them where they're at and have them log into the Zoom meeting. I think there are a few advantages, which is, it's pretty cool.
Adapting to this time of COVID-19 restrictions has not been easy on anyone, but adapting isn't always a bad thing, as it can open up many unseen opportunities. For Ouachita News, I'm Brock Ingold.
Despite this, Rush has still been successful, and all of the clubs are looking forward to welcoming their new members come Saturday.
Well, COVID also hasn't stopped Dr. Craig Hamilton and Dr. Ryan Lewis from having band rehearsals. Aaron Jordan has more on how Ouachita's band has tackled this semester.
Hamilton is rehearsing for jazz band and Lewis for steel band. The jazz band has added plexiglass panels between wind players. The rhythm section is wearing masks and the players are distanced. Lewis goes into further detail.
The plexiglass makes it difficult to hear because the sound does not travel to your ears. It's being funneled forward to the audience instead of side to side.
Lewis had to decrease required instrumentation, and only half of the performers can come for 25-minute periods. The other half comes for the last 25 minutes in order to maintain distance, yet have the community they love.
It did affect how much rehearsal time we have, because effectively that cuts our rehearsal time in half. Each group only, instead of playing 2 hours a week, it's only 1 hour a week.
According to Hamilton, none of the jazz players have gone into quarantine. Steel band took extra precautions, including wiping down instruments and stands.
Luckily with percussion, we're already usually so far apart anyway, because we have large instruments between us. Very often percussionists will share sticks and mallets. And now we can't do that. We need to keep our own mallets to ourselves or make sure we sanitize really well.
The jazz band will use the same precautions as in rehearsals. Steel drum will be more spread out on stage, but there will be a dress rehearsal the afternoon of the concert to get a feel for the acoustics.
Well, we have two options. We can keep the same setup and just sort of expand it out, kind of away from the center. And then what I may do is move the percussion and drum set up into the middle so that everybody can hear the rhythm section very clearly. If that doesn't work as well, what we may do is instead of everybody being in lines, like the tenors and then the double seconds, we may move them into little pods. So that way they're more together as a section.
The jazz band concert is Monday, November 9th at 7:30 p.m. and the steel drum concert is Wednesday, November 18th at 8 p.m. For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Aaron Jordan.
The jazz band held its last concert of the semester on Monday night, and the steel drum band will have their concert next week.
Ouachita's student athletes have also had a tough semester, but have worked to overcome these challenges. Here's Hannah Hickman with more about how the swim team has pushed through this semester.
So this season compared to last season is obviously like insanely different. Our practices are split, and we were used to training all the time, everybody, 5 people to a lane, very constantly.
Like many other teams across the country, the Tiger Sharks have been unable to compete this fall due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Head coach Stephen Bostic has found ways to adapt his team's training and is hopeful for a spring season.
I'm still pushing the athletes. I'm still trying to see what their breaking points are. We're still grinding away 19 hours a week. We're still getting up early. It's really just convincing the athletes to train for the unknown or something that may or may not happen. So I don't know, a season is a season is a season. I mean, that's just how we look at it, business as usual.
We have to stay positive, stay confident that we're going to be able to compete and that we're going to have time drops, and we have to trust the process even more than we usually do. We have to trust coach, and we have to stay motivated in the pool and work just as hard.
I know we're not bigger than a pandemic. I'm not foolish enough to think that, but I like a challenge. I think our team likes a challenge, and it would be really, really exciting to swim fast at the end of the year. It would be fun to walk around and, say, hey, we didn't let COVID beat us. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Hannah Hickman.
The Tiger Sharks have hosted virtual swim meets, and the Ouachita Sports Digital Network was able to record their COVID Cup. However, the team can't wait to start competing again.
Now, the owner of Arkadelphia's 3D Sports Academy, Alan McDeal, last played Major League Baseball in 2001. Preston Crowder caught up with him to see what his life has been like after professional baseball.
Alan McDeal possessed a passion for baseball at a very young age. Baseball is something I've done my whole life. So I started at T-ball and then went from there all the way up. But I would say Little League is when I decided that was my passion.
Once the left-handed pitcher showed promise in high school, colleges and universities began to reach out.
Yeah, I had lots of NAIA schools at that time recruiting me. University of Arkansas was calling a couple times. It took me a while to decide, so I made a choice to go to junior college first and then Arkansas Tech after that.
After successful sophomore and junior seasons, Major League scouts took notice.
I really just couldn't think that I had a real chance until my scout that drafted me, he kept calling and telling me we're gonna draft you in this range. I was like, is this real, But yeah, getting the call that day, and he told me I was drafted 20th round and going to play for the Mets. It was very surreal.
Although McDill was drafted by the Mets in 1992, he made his Major League debut with the Kansas City Royals on May 15, 1997.
Well, I was scared to death. I'm not going to lie. Warming up in the bullpen, I remember very little about it. All these emotions, all these thoughts are all happening at one time. Luckily, I got 3 up and 3 down. I can't tell you how I did it, but after that, it was a huge sigh of relief. And then, each time I pitched after that, it got better. I got more comfortable.
After McDill's 11 years in professional baseball, he spent some time away from the game. However, our dream of opening up his own private sports academy came to fruition in 2014.
Life after baseball is probably one of the toughest transitions a player makes. And after just a lot of thought process and just soul searching, I decided to open up a facility and give my knowledge back to kids.
That facility, 3D Sports Academy, teaches more than just baseball.
Well, 3D is 3 words, just dream, desire, and dedicate. It's about teaching kids how to dedicate themselves and have a dream and have a desire to achieve those things, and teaching them more just than how to hit or pitch. I love baseball. I love teaching it. Seeing a kid come in here who can't do something, and when they leave, they're doing it all. And that's reward. That's a blessing for me. But like I said, I don't know what the future holds, but I hope it's still baseball.
No matter what the future holds, McDill's passion for the game will never die. For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Preston Crowder.
Well, that's all we have for you this week.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Ouachita News and at Ouachita Weather Watch.
Social distance, wear your mask, and sanitize, Tigers. We'll see you next week with more of the latest Ouachita news.